such a sacred feeling inside, thinking the fish are themselves so blessed to be touching the very bodies of those who are Paramashiva, the representation and embodiment of Paramashiva. So it felt in that moment that this sacredness, in that way, it did the Tyaga, it had a need. These banks, and they sing the Kudal Pura. Go and see Sundareshwara Swami in the temple of Madurai. So its heart swells in devotion, and it goes to the very lotus pond in Madurai, and it takes a bath and worships Paramashiva for 15 days. Yes, in fact, every day it goes and it has the bath in the lotus pond and worships Sundareshwara. On the end of the 15 days of this beautiful observance that it had done, it sees some of the fish in the lotus pond, and it feels the need to eat the fish. Again, as an animal, it has the instinct, but also it feels at the same time it is such a sacred pond inside the temple. It shouldn't feel that the fish should be something that it eats. So it was feeling the hunger, but also feeling the anguish of not feeling the need for the food, the fish, then the sanctity of the pond. So it had this conflict within it, and immediately at that moment, Paramashiva manifests before it, and the stork is so happy to have the darshan of Somasundareshwara in that moment, and it it prays to Somasundareshwara that it should be having the two boons. One is that this lotus pond should be devoid of any fish, so that other animals and other birds like itself will not be able to have the fish and commit the sin of going after the desire. So it wanted to maintain the sacred space of the temple and say that it is so precious in the sacred space of the pond and all of the inhabitants in it. So, of course, till date, the lotus pond inside the Madurai Meenakshi temple is a devoid of fish. And there we will also see that the stork is also celebrated in this beautiful Leela of Somasundareshwara. And we get to learn these Leelas. And as we learn each day of the Aavani Tiruvizha Brahmotsavam, these Leelas really play a beautiful role in our own understanding of our own possibilities of Tyaga. What is all our seeking? Are we meant to be continuously suffering and going behind our desires? Are we meant to be continuously going after wealth or different kinds of pleasures? These questions have beautifully come up, and as it is beautifully shared, this kind of a reality and possibility happens to animals themselves, who are able to have the very possibility of enlightenment and paramashivatva in their life because of just their seeking, and just because of Paramashiva's presence in their life. It is just whenever anybody gets to know Somasundareshwara or any of these magnificent manifestations of Paramashiva and Paramashiva Shakti and all the gods, just immediately people are pulled out of their karmas of life and death and literally able to experience a higher state of consciousness in oneness with the whole cosmos. And that's the very lifestyle that all of these stories bless us with. So we are so fortunate to have the Tiruvilayadal and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Shamala Pita, Sarvajna Pita, the spiritual kingdom that is established by Meenakshi Sundareshwara themselves, has a lineage and can kept alive for generations. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is the very embodiment of Meenakshi Sundareshwara, is the current spiritual ruler of this kingdom. And in a few days, we'll be celebrating the Somasundareshwara Pattabhishekam in the city of Madurai. The year is divided into two parts. 4 months of the year, Devi Meenakshi rules the rules the whole universe from the Madurai Samrajyam itself. And then for the next 8 months, from Aavani till the next year, Chitre, Somasundareshwara he rules the whole cosmos from that very space. And beautifully, we can also know that the Somasundareshwara, we are Hindu tradition, we believe that gods can come and live among us. They are very much there among us and surrounding us and blessing us. And that is the way we not just imagine, but it is in our history itself that they have come and lived with us and created enlightened civilization like the Iranayar Somasundareshwara Swami. Having these stories is the real blessing in our lives, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing the work of really reviving the whole traditions and not just telling it like as if it is some kind of a museum sense, or telling you that it is some kind that you should feel responsible as it is your cultural heritage. This is not the way that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing revival. When it comes from the original source, then it is authentic to giving, contributing to your life in every aspect, whether it is the health aspect, whether it is the daily routine aspect, whether it is the longevity of your life aspect, any aspect of your life. Hinduism's history has the solutions, and the revival that Swamiji is bringing out is the whole lifestyle itself, the whole tradition itself is being revived as something that can be something livable and user friendly today. And that is the way that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is giving us the Hindu traditions. And also, we're having and celebrating the Annadanams continuously going on in the various centers where the pilgrims join to have the darshan of Chokanada and Meenakshi. Whoever comes to the temple to have the darshan of Meenakshi Sundareshwara, they are the very embodiment of Meenakshi Sundareshwara. So we attend to them and worship them and receive them with the Annadhanam. And the Annadhanam offerings are being continuously given to the public who come to the events of the Somasundareshwara Brahmotsavam. So in a few days from now, the Somasundareshwara Pattabhishekam will be commencing in the evening of the 25th of August at 7:35 to 7:59 is the auspicious Kumbha Lagna, the auspicious time where the whole convergence of the cosmos aligns to celebrate the manifestation of Paramashiva Mahadeva as Somasundareshwara and his very reign as the king of the whole cosmos itself. And we will be celebrating that on the 25th of August. So join us for those celebrations. Every day we'll be celebrating in the morning and in the evening, offering in Kailasa Madurai. On behalf of all of us, our deep devotion, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is offering the Mandagapadi, the traditional offering to Meenakshi Sundareshwara themselves and the other deities of the Panchamurti pantheon of deities. They all come out and grace every day beautifully. That is the purpose of the Archavatara. The Archavatara is a living deity. It is worshipped and also taken care as a living person would be, whether they need a sacred bath or offering food. Everything is about the way the agamas that Paramashiva has given is to revive this tradition and give everyone the possibility to be able to connect with the deities and be able to see that they are a reality in our life. And that is the way that he is reviving the tradition, not just a way to give people a sense of nostalgia, but also a sense of grounding in the Hindu identity, that all of these traditions are to be celebrated, preserved, and they are very sacred, and they can do so much to heal you and take you to the next level of consciousness. So thank you all for joining today's celebration of the Mandagapadi offering at the evening of the Aavani Tiruvizha Brahmotsavam, the Brahmotsavam of Somasundareshwara Swami's Pattabhishekam. We will get back to you after a few moments of a break.
Fall back. Okay. Just to quickly just show the another now.
I have a clip you can play if you just load it.
Only the crowd is coming.
No clip didn't come. Remember,
just you just
I sent it again after I came.
Oh, you did.
Little bit you just to talk about Sanadana. Just to now only some people coming. We don't have much food over there. That's why people.
Some halwa.
Okay.
Yeah. Just take a transition. Giving transition. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Yes, as you can see, we are continuously offering the Annadhanam in the Kailasa Madurai premises. When the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism became the Guru Mahasanidhanam of the Madurai Adinam. There he had the instruction of Meenakshi Sundareshwara to revive the original way to establish the enlightened civilization. And at that moment, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism immediately started with the free Annadanam 24/7, giving food continuously to the public who come and to the devotees of Soma Sundareshwara and Meenakshi Devi. After 3 weeks, just after 3 weeks of serving Annadanam in this manner, the local authorities come by and share that because of this singular Annadanam, the crime rate in the whole city of the Madurai Samrajyam has reduced. Yes, it has completely come down. And how is this possible, you may think? Yes, it is possible when you are able to provide people food, the basic needs of life. Their desperation to commit crime and be able to acquire the food they need for themselves or their family, that reduces drastically, and they are able to have the food and celebrate and literally feel that Meenakshi Sundareshwara are in their lives, are taking care of them, and they are very well looked after by their gods themselves. And that is the work of the Kailasa Madurai Shamala Pita Sarvajna Pita, to give people that possibility that there is the Soma Sundareshwara always there to take care of you. Meenakshi Devi are there to always take care of you. They are like they are our cosmic mother and father, continuously taking care of us in our lives. And when we serve the Annadanam and we and doing the Annadhanam is one of a part of the Hindu dharma to do the dhanas. There's 13 dhanas that one person should do in their lifetime, that is said in the Shastras, and Annadhana is one of the most powerful dhanas that can be given, and in order to relinquish our karmas and our punya karmas and then surrender it to the whole cosmos itself. In this way, Annadhanam is so powerful. Of course, there are so many shastras and so many scriptural references that tell how Annadhanam is the best dhanam, or it's the dhanam that the whole science of Annadhanam, and how it quenching the hunger of the people brings more and more prosperity through the rains coming. It is said even in the Bhagavad Gita, Annad Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyad Anna Sambhavaha. It is there in the Karma Yoga, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that because of the food grains are being made possible because of the rains, and the rains are made possible because of the selfless sacrifice of the individuals. And that is the dhanas. Those are the work of the Hindus, to do the regular rituals and rites and very feeding of the masses. To do this ritual in itself is a process of really creating that enlightened civilization. You can see these are literally the grounding building blocks of the whole thing. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is sharing the message to give the world the real solutions from Hinduism about sustainability, about hunger-free world, all of the issues that the world is facing right now. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving those solutions that are there inside the scriptures themselves through the Annadhanam, and also various other lifestyle practices like such as vegetarianism, and also agricultural practices of, and the practice of worshipping and taking care of the Gomata. All of these these services and bringing in the revival of all these give people the possibility and the opportunity to be able to really live a dharmic Hindu life, and also contribute more than any other way in the whole world. Actually, not only are we just contributing, not the things, the charity, and the definition of charity in Hinduism is giving away the things that are most precious to you, the treasures to you. So it is a demand of the cosmos to do the tyaga, and when the tyaga is done, then the world is benefited. That is the way that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving Tyage Naike Amritatpamanushuhu, celebrating the original Shastra in the Upanishads, telling us that just by doing the work of renouncing, you achieve immortality. And the truths are there inside the traditions themselves. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is giving us practical ways to live these truths. No longer are we going to have to say these are all just intellectual points or philosophical points that just need to be passed around in a coffee table. These are points that we have to use and live as a lifestyle. Yes, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing the work of taking Hindus who are just able to only consider these understandings of Hinduism as a bookish knowledge or an intellectual knowledge. And he's telling that that is not the way. We need to move further as Hindus and do the work as Hinduism is telling us, do the revival of Hinduism as it is telling us, build the temples of Kailasa, do the work of reviving the ancient rituals and the rituals like the Annadhanam, and giving the possibility of a hunger-free world, at least in the community around you. And these are the work that is going on in Kailasas around the world, giving 10,000 plus free meals in a day all over in the world, and giving the possibility to give that hunger-free breakthrough. And not only that, the moment, just like how we heard the story of the stork, even if in its hunger, when it was sacrificing its hunger to be able to celebrate Somasundareshwara in its life, in that same way, when we quench the when we want to celebrate that the Devi Paramashiva as a reality in our life, and we want to worship those who come and as Somasundareshwara as a doorstep, we believe that Paramashiva is there in all of us. And when he comes to our doorstep, and any person who comes to our doorstep and eats the food that we serve them, we feel that they are Paramashiva themselves. You can see the stories and stories and stories are there. They're all histories. They are all really events that happen of the Nayanmars, and how they celebrate the Shivanadiyas, whoever wears the Tirumula Vargavedam, the Bhasma, and all of the ways of the symbols of Paramashiva, they are to be served as Paramashiva himself. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is sharing also further that whoever has the darshan of Meenakshi Sundareshwara, they should have the food, and they should be literally served as Meenakshi Sundareshwara themselves. So you can see, as we are doing the Mandakabadi offering and bringing you to the very breathing space of Madurai, Kailasa and Madurai, you can also celebrate the Annadhanam continuously going on. If you are interested in making a donation or contributing and also being part of this Annadhanam service, you can scan the QR code and make yourself a donate and offer the donation. If you want to be able to celebrate continuously for the efforts all over the world for the Annadhanam that is happening, the revival of Annadhanam, you can become a Patreon. Become a patron on the Patreon and go to the link below and register yourself to give the regular donations to this wonderful revival of Hinduism by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in Kailasa embassies around the world. So thank you all for joining us today, and we'll get back to you as we continue the celebrations tomorrow morning. Also, we'll be celebrating one more Leela of Somasundareshwara Meenakshi. It's a beautiful celebration. Don't miss, and hope to see you all tomorrow morning for the next next way of welcoming Somasundareshwara into our lives. So join us in the Kailasa Digital Nation and all of the digital platforms on YouTube, on Facebook, and everywhere, as we celebrate this Aavani Tiruvizha Brahmotsam, the divine presence, grace, and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam. We'll end now with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nityananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Good.
So we control. The streaming team, I don't know. So we're done.
What is going on?
Huh? He called, what's his name? Sundareshwara. Called them for something happened somewhere.
Oh, for the PM session, I think. PM session after yoga?
No, it wasn't that kind. It was like, bring them donkeys over here. It's a nice light, actually. How many hours did you sleep this morning? You slept good, decent?
9 to 1:30.
Oh, 9 to 1 or tonight. It's like, I don't know, and you might have to sleep in between like
Yeah, now
8, 9 to